bringing it to the street, placing it in the drainage. To get that road constructed, it took us time, quite a number of time to get that road constructed. Now that we see people taking a dive, dumping it in the middle of the road with no, remorse and it's just frustrating. We have to change our minds, our mentality, our attitude towards how we treat infrastructure in the country. So without being joined by Councillor Tiawan Gongloe, we have less time. Very limited, but we will still talk to him. He's made a trip to southeastern Liberia without prejudice or without taking sides. He's been one political actor in recent history who's really during this time we've really traveled extensively to so many towns and villages. Having town hall meetings. Sometimes when you see some of the live video, he's there with 10, 15, 20 persons. And I was able to say he was doing some kind of representative campaigning. Not knowing he's doing a serious, presidential campaign. But let's say, Councilor, welcome to this interview. Though we do not have much time, but let's have you.
Welcome. You told me to come forward.
I didn't finally communicate with you.
I think it was you didn't get me class at 3:30.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
But we still got some time. 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, 30 minutes from now we can sell some more of that.
Awesome.
Welcome back to town.
But thank you, and I like the public information you're giving. No matter, you can have 10,000 people in the city, you keep driving right every time. The city will still be there, but I think the cities should use the city ordinance. You know, some people should start paying fine, and people go to jail and all that. That's what is happening in Uganda, Rwanda, and other places. You do education and you also enforce the law.
Yes, people get punished for their wrongdoing.
Right. So I'm happy to be here. Second time on your show, I remember for more than 2 years, you kept saying come. Now you're going to have more of me.
Oh, yes.
You know, you have an advocate transforming into a politician, and it's different. And as a lawyer as well, we do not, in law, you look at facts before you find the law. So I want to be president of Liberia. I want to be president of all Liberians, not some. Not only the Liberians that live in the capital city, in the county seats, but Liberians that live in the villages, that you have to cross the monkey bridges to go to. You have to go in kingdoms to go to. And so I'm going around and I'm educating myself at the same time. I'm learning a lot because, you know what? I'm sleeping on bamboo beds. I'm sleeping on the floor with one mattress on the ground. And then you have to go on the left side, maybe 2 minutes walk to the bathroom. And on the right side, 2 minutes walk to the latrine. But that's the condition under which people are living. There are some places where we drink rare water, when they bring a cola nut, and then I must say I don't drink, but I drink a little bit of cane juice eating a break because they bring you the cola nut, and then they bring cane juice, the water.
Traditionally,
So
I regularly refuse.
So I put a little bit in the cup and take it.
But it was not intended for you to get drunk, so there's no problem.
No. I mean, you appreciated the fact that
you drink small.
That if you don't take cola from the gribble man and drink a little bit of what they are drinking and the water and all that,
you see that's in the front.
They will not talk to you. Then you don't accept them. So I had a great time in Southeastern Liberia because, you know, I think because my experience in Ghana, I was a research assistant to Dr. Jenna Carter, an anthropologist, and we went to Kampala. And I think our chief Nobel, former chief Nobel, and we brought the cola nut. And this white lady did the cola nut with pepper and salt, and then drinking juice. And they mean Liberia, I had to. So myself, I follow suit. So I've done that before, but yeah. I won 301,000. I'm very, very happy with that.
So Kazo, we will get into the different aspects of the trip. Let us begin from Margibi County, the Family Town Peace Declaration Program. Were you at that program?
I wasn't there because I was out of town. Earlier on, some ECOWAS women brought, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, that people to me that serve for peace in the election period, and I signed. I think I was the first to sign, and they said they were going to take it around for everybody else to sign. Yeah, I wasn't present. I didn't get the information before going out of town, and my trip was planned. While on the trip, the chairman of the party, I think, informed me through text message also. But it's tough to just make changing your trip when you're in southeastern Nigeria. You cannot even determine getting to the next town easily. If you want to get the next town. So yeah, the spirit intent of that is more important than the letter, than the form. And I've been involved in peace process in this country is that anybody in the race who has any credential for being part of the peace process than me. I was part of the Cotonou Accord, the Lomé Peace Accord, the Cotonou Agreement. You know, I work as an executive assistant to Dr. Sawyer when this country was finding peace. So I know that, and I've been advocating for peace as a human rights lawyer and building a culture of peace. I even did a workshop with Talking Drum before on how to do journalism that promotes peace and undermines conflict. For example, you cannot say a Flomo Epeleman killed say a man today. that type of reporting puts people together. So I know I've done a lot on peace promotion. So there are many who need to be taught, but I agree with the intent and spirit of the accord. We need to keep emphasizing peace all of the time. So my absence really didn't mind. You know, the real agreement is the one that is in the mind, not the one on paper.
The one that is in the mind. But on top of that, at that very meeting, I don't know how true it is, but I understand that the United Party stand-up bearer Joseph Boakai represented the opposition community to make certain statement, and he, among other things, called for an extension in the VRO process. Did you buy into that call? Assuming he spoke for the opposition community.
What I can say is that, of course, the process is already behind schedule. I see that lower and lower number of people are now at the sites. I don't know what his experience is, but I came back, and yesterday, just traveling from Morristown where I live to town, I don't see the long queues anymore. You know, so it means that a lot of people have registered. I hope more people register, but it should be informed by the experience of the Elections Commission at the end of the day. Because the normal rule is if people are still online, you cannot close the section. So if there are still people online coming, I think it should close on Sunday or so. And if there are long lines, obviously we can then call for an extension. But if on Sunday there are 5 persons on the line, and the experience is that the people at the various registration centers are not seeing people coming, then it will not be cost effective to extend. Okay. So I still think that there's room to make that decision based on evidence.
I think the call from Ambassador Boakai and many other politicians, from the start of the process, the first 2 to 3 days, there were some technical glitches. People could not, go through the process normally. Even as we speak, I got a report from District 3 in Grand Bassa County that sometimes the people go to the line and then they are told the solar light has not come on to power the computer they're supposed to use, and all of those, and people will stand 4 or 5 hours because of the distances they have to cover. They'll have to leave and go back home. So I think most people are not coming either because they've stayed and got frustrated and then ashamed, so they're coming on. There was no card and all of those available because we're getting a whole lot of reports. I even got a report from the ECC that gave a whole lot of recommendations.
Yeah, I'm saying that there is not just the extension, but there are other things that need to happen, because even if you're extending and someone says, this is farming season, I'm going on my farm, I went there the first day, it didn't work, I'm not going back there again. So there has to be a lot of things to do to motivate people to go back. And so I'm saying that type of call would be good at the end, when we see what is happening, because the intent is to give opportunity for a lot of Liberians to participate in the process. So we have a a reasonable, a representative portion of our electorates to participate in the process, and you cannot participate if you don't have a voter registration card. But we politicians have the duty to excite people, to stimulate people to go to the voter registration center. If we don't do so, it can be open for the next 2 months. People will not go there, so we should encourage our people to go. And that is our responsibility.
Civic education and awareness.
And that's one of the reasons I've been going around. Everywhere I've gone in the 301 towns, I will always end with, therefore, I'm asking you to register. In fact, I say, I hold your feet. If you watch it, I hold your feet. I feel to your. See, you say the thing I'm talking, you will like it. If I become president, all the things I say I will do is good for the country. And you say you like it. If you watch the video, I say, anybody who says the level I'm talking, they stand on all of them. So you all agree. But you can't vote for me until you go and get that paper, you register. So, since you say you will support me, you go register. They say, yeah, we'll register. So that's the kind of thing that all of us politicians should be saying. Say, anyone to vote for me, yeah, but then go register now, because you don't register, you don't have to vote for me. And that's what I've been doing all over the country. I don't know what my colleagues have been doing, but it's our responsibility to inspire people to vote, to encourage people to vote. And I think that one that I get first dues,
I want to come in. I want to come in from this. I will get to the meat of your different messages you left with the people in the different towns. This government in 2018 came on the back of lifting, in keeping with the PAPD on mantra to lift Liberians, 1 million plus Liberians, out of the shackles of poverty. You went down to the downtrodden Liberian, the people in the shanty towns across the country, City Can, Sasstown,
Bear One,
Block on G, all of that. Yeah. But my question is, from what you saw, all of the different conversations, have you seen the people lifted from the shackles of poverty?
This government has a very good credential in increasing poverty, multiplying poverty, and much more than any other government in the past. Because there's no attempt now to even open vocational schools, trade schools all over the country. That's why when you talk about youth empowerment, that is it. In fact, one young man in Philadelphia, a gold mining town, correctly described it. He said, Councillor Gongloe, I want the good thing we need to thank the Chinese people and the Indian people for producing motorcycles. Because if motorcycles are not being produced and supplied to Liberia for us to buy, then I don't know how our life is going to be. Because there are two things that the young people in Liberia are doing now. Riding motorcycles, especially the young boys. Riding motorcycles and digging gold. In fact, my sympathy goes to some gold miners in Grand Jeda. While I was there, in one of those towns, the earth collapsed, fell on some 5 miners, and they lost their lives. And then one in IT, I remember, says, I visited a young man who broke his leg in the pit there, and he said his friend got killed. So the young people are going through very difficult conditions because of the level of poverty. Now, why do I say the government is increasing poverty? I can tell you this. If you have a planting farm and you load a truck and you go to the Susu people in town and say, you're giving me money to pay for my truck to carry my load of planting to Monrovia, you will get stuck. If you are coming from Fishtown, for example, you will get stuck between Wipo Kanwekan and Kidipo Kanwekan. coming to Monrovia. And you get stuck there for 1 week, and your planting will get ripe and rotten. And instead of you selling your planting, your truck load of planting, to come and pay the person you borrow money for to pay transportation, you will become a debtor, and you now have the ability to pay, and you'll be taken to court. So that's just the example of how poverty is being multiplied without roads in this country. And somebody will say, oh, but they're paving the road. I am a librarian, I lived here my life. I know what past governments did. And this government, I don't know why they are not following that. Under Tubman, I live in Tapata. And don't follow that. There were public work yards. I know I can name them. Ganta, Way 2, that's the name of Tapata. Then we cross the river, Sister River, Town. Then you pass Granjide and you come to Kanyeke. These were public work stations, the public work hubs that had yellow machines. Those yellow machines were used to maintain the roads, especially during the dry season. By the time we hit October, you see the yellow machines re-grabbing the roads in Zwedru, in Tapata, even in the towns itself, and then the main roads, and putting the gutter so that when the rain starts, the water just would drain easily. So the roads were well maintained. I remember in 1979, I was president of the YCS, and the university had closed, and I went to Fatima and St. Francis. That Fatima is in a Catholic school in Cape Palmas, and St. Francis is in People. And I was heading this young Catholic student movement, YCS. I was national president. I wanted to do some extension work. When I was coming, I left Cape Palmas 6 o'clock in the morning. I arrived in Monrovia between 8 and 9, the same day. It can't happen again. It doesn't happen these days. And you can't fly anything when you are in southeastern Nigeria or you are in Lofa or Apollo easily. Because if you look at my plan, I on this trip, I was in Kilipo Kanweken. So from Kilipo Kanweken, I finished what I was doing, my civil engagement at 5 o'clock. I told the people, the motorcycle went ahead, the cyclist went ahead. Tell the people I'll be there at 6 o'clock. The same day, oh my God, I arrived 1 a.m. the next morning. Wow. On a 30-minute distance. I know between Kilipo Kanweken, everybody who listen to me, from Kilipo Kanweken, you come and pass Putuke, and the next thing you're in Kilipo Kanweken. It is 20 to 30 minutes, no more time. So 8 hours. So when I got there, everybody was in bed. So I went on the outskirts, in another town near Kanweken. I slept in Drake. And the next morning I met with the Drake people before I went to Kilipo Kanweken. To Kilipo Kanweken. So you have a situation like that. It will increase poverty. Not only will it increase poverty as it is doing now, but it is a risk to people's survival. Because if you are sick in Kilipo Kanweken and you want to go to Kilipo Kanweken, like has a larger clinic, and there is an ambulance that runs faster than the jet, you will never get there because you get stuck at that mud, and you will die right there. Okay, there were over 20 cars stuck. We had Toyota Land Cruiser Jeep, but we can't fly over the cars.
But even though the government brag about doing so many roads across the country, I mean, it's an irony when I hear you talk us through about the difficulty facing the people in how to reach areas. How do we reconcile the government road conversations that they are doing more roads than any other administration?
You know, the statement that truth crush to the earth will rise again is true. Seeing is believing. I too probably would have believed it here, but I went up country and started from Tapata. By the way, the Ganta Cllr road start right after Cocoa Park, and there's not a wheelbarrow on that road. They pack everything, and what I heard was that the government owed the Chinese company $13 million, and the government has not paid. So they packed their things and left. There's no road construction going on there. That's unless it started yesterday, because but When you get to Tapita, from Tapita, as before getting to Blodiala, you're already in the mud. And then you have difficult people. I had serious problems because people were waiting for me and getting tired. When we send, because the motorcyclists will reach at first, the people are coming. Total, for example, there were huge amount of people waiting for them. I got to Total and they say, the boy had plenty of money, but after 12, I posted the people not coming. And the motorcyclists who went there, said the people coming. So we got there water around 5 when we had left up it a long time. And then we got to Zleta and Paulstown, which normally would have gotten to in the day. We got it in the night. And so the group of people waiting for us had gone home. This is farming season in the interior, where people sacrifice not to go on their farm to brush, or some people have felt, who are burning their farm to go to start plowing. They will not wait for you all that long. And then the other aspect of under development that is affecting us beside the road is that many places in the area don't have network. Okay. So you don't have where to call people and say, you know what, go home and come some time. We're having serious problem. Yes. And it's good for me and it's good for any presidential candidate because you cannot solve a problem you don't know. Going in the interior is and experiencing all the difficulties is putting me in a position to really solve the problem.
How do you intend to do the issue of road under a Gongloe administration?
Simple. I told you, under Tubman, and Do, there were public work yards. I intend to restore the public work yards in the 15 counties in major town to make sure that the roads are maintained. It happened before, it was all right.
That could be cost intensive, Council.
It is good. It is better. They're not going to put 10% in anybody's pocket at public works. When you do all the contract, the 10%,
and then people getting 10%.
Of course. Of course. The 10%, these contracts, when you put yellow machines there, and you have government employees operating, yeah, they might steal some fuel, but that is still much. I mean, they will still repair they will rehabilitate the roads. It happened before. If you don't have the road rehabilitated, government put a regional hospital in Tapeta that has so many experts and modern equipment. It was meant for the whole of South-Eastern Nigeria, from Tapeta down. The people don't have access to it because of the bad road. It is very serious. If you spend from going town to Zaita, that 5 to 10 minutes. I saw trucks there that had been there 1 week. 1 week. Even though one of them digging the ground said, "You see what jogger?" He said, "We're 4 joggers, 2 times." I said, "Yeah."
I saw you with a shovel, and at a certain point in time, you have to take all your shoes and all of those.
Yes,
it was. I guess an atom.
No,
is it serious?
No. Look, we got to the place, and I was between that Kilipo Kanweke and Bobo Kanweke. I want to get to the place. We got to the place. Now I knew there were several cars ahead. I thought we would just face that place and we'll be going. So I carried shovels on the trip. From my first experience last year.
But that day your train council wouldn't do nothing to that road. I saw you take one small thing.
There was water. There was sitting, and the people didn't have shovel. So I was opening that room for the water to go in the gutter, and that helped us because when the water went in the gutter, then we took the rocks now and put it to that mud, and we put a truckload. Somebody brought a truckload of rocks, and then we put it down, and then our 3 vehicles rode over the trucks over the rocks. As we were doing it, the rocks were going down further in the mud, and then it became harder.
And you able others to pass.
And then others pass.
Council, you talk about the economy, you talk about the Barney effect about how rules are adversely affected to access to health and all of that. I'm concerned about the security of the people.
That's part of it. Wait. You just talking about the security. Let's assume it will not happen. Every coast that is close to that place attacks you and you want to move your troops. You can move your troops.
So the road is tied to everything is tied to the road.
Yeah. Or there's a serious riot going on somewhere, and you say, the people call and you say, we're sending 2 trucks of ERD to come.
We could use the air.
You use the air, but I can tell you most of the airstrips in the country are covered by grass now, because Air Liberia that used to operate before the war is now operating around Mexico, and Mexico goes to it's going to few areas. For example, Tucson, where I slept, has a long.
Did you sleep in Tucson?
Yeah, I slept in Tucson.
That's the home of Summer Doe.
Yes, I'm a reconciler. I got to Tucson 7:30.
Tell us about the reception. I mean,
great reception.
Are you serious?
Great reception. I even called one of my supporters, Cllr, who is from Tucson. I said, Cllr, I'm in Tucson. If I told the people, some of my supporters are from this town, one of them is called Cllr, and I think the city mayor wanted to test what I said. He called Cllr. Cllr lives in America, but he's spending his vacation here now. And then Cllr answered the phone, and he brought the phone to me. And I said, Cllr, I'm here. He said, oh, my people will take care of you. But I think that the mayor actually wanted a confirmation. But it was then the mayor saying in the end, Councillor Gongloe, you sleep here. And I turned around and told my people I was sleep here. It's important that as a man of man coming from Nimba, that I sleep here.
That's what I was coming to.
This will give greater confidence and will improve the reconciliation process between the two, the healing process. And if Councillor Gongloe, a political figure, could sleep in Tucson without anything happening to him, then Tucson is the place to go. That's how all the man and people would feel. But more than that, the gay and man people have healed their relationship. When you go to their relationship, you go to grandchildren. Every time you go to grandchildren, every time you go in grandchildren, you see man and people, they are married. They already, but then for a political figure, that's important, because the ordinary people who are doing the hunting, farming, and doing their petty businesses are different from political figure. I'm a political figure. I want to step in Tucson. I must commend the people of Tucson for their high level of hospitality. They dance that whole night. They pledge support to me. Not only that, they say you sleep here. That was around, the program ended around 9 o'clock. By 11 o'clock, I just saw a lot of food that they brought. And my delegation ate and got tired.
What came to your mind?
Well, I felt happy that, yes, Liberia is making progress in terms of healing, coming out of the injuries created by the war. That it gave me a good feeling, And I would say this loudly many times, especially on Nimba radio. I said, whoever is harboring any feeling, should forget it. Me, a controversial figure, for a long time in this country, slept in Tucson. If I can sleep in Tucson, why should anybody from Nimba be afraid?
Because at any point in time, did you enter Saskan, the home of President George?
I did.
What was the reception? We overheard that you were booed and all of those.
That is so bad. Because you can't speak about something that is obviously a lie. My appearance in Sastown was carried live. It was not recorded, it was carried live. I entered Tucson with a 3-car convoy. The guy from that region who was coordinating the trip said the city mayor will come see you. The city mayor came to the car and said,
Tucson or Sastown?
Sastown.
Okay.
The city mayor came to the car and said, counter your way. He went and arranged a place for us to sit. And that was an entertainment area, because they had speaker there, music was playing, so we needed to use that. Then as soon as people heard Councillor Gongloe wasn't down, a whole lot of young people came, the place was packed. And then in southeastern Liberia, especially the Global and the Cllr thing, there's nothing that can happen without the Cllr. So he brought the Cllr, gave the Cllr, I took the Cllr, and then after I ate the Cllr and drank the water, then I was sobering on So when I took the Cllr and drank the water they brought, then the city mayor, township commissioner, wanted to talk to me. And then he said, I will give the Cllr to you, then as a stranger you tell us the mission, the purpose of your trip.
Okay.
I got up, I explained to them who I was, and I told them if I were to be elected president, I have a 10-point agenda for better life forever. I talk about four, and the 4 points I usually talk about: free medical services for pregnant women, children under the age of 5, and people 65 years or up. Free education for children from kindergarten to 12th grade. I will make the illiterate poor read and write in 2 years by giving stipend to junior high students, senior high students, college students to teach illiterate people, at least 10 of them after school. I will create, the government will put free trade schools in 15 counties. We will put public work yards in all of the counties to keep the roads maintained so that government does not violate the freedom of movement now, because government is violating the freedom of movement.
Because somebody could argue that these are very cost intensive. You want to undertake. You have a small price as a country. You have to grow the economy where people will be able to pay.
We have money. We have money.
Where is it?
There's no question we have money. We'll go check the 47 billion that the president built in 8 months. Go check the buildings that
is that the country's
coming up. Yeah, it's the country's money. It's the country's money.
You are speaking as a lawyer, counselor. Where are the evidence? Somebody could ask.
Well, when he leaves power, you can sue me, and then we discuss it, because right now you can't sue and you sue.
Okay.
So so he's a public figure, because the circumstances show that he didn't have any money. People around will tell you, buying gas for the generator and everything. He was really, really poor before becoming president. And so once he put his hand in the cookie jar, many ministers around him started doing things around. He does not have the moral ability to even question them. But then I talk about rice production. We need to recognize rice production, and we change the address from being a rice importer to rice exporter. When I say these things, people get electrified, because in Nigeria, all of us here, somebody this young lady can bring a bowl of yam with chicken gravy for all of us to eat. Even you say, I eat nothing here. Because you don't eat rice too, you have to eat rice. So, I said this, and when I said that, people were just clapping in that place. Then I got through saying it. I said, so, will you go vote for me? Yay! Watch the video, it's online. It's on YouTube and everything. And then I said, all right. Then I beg you, as I usually say, I'll hold your feet. Please go and register to vote. When the election commission send people here to register for the vote, they say, okay. Then I say, it's getting late. It's around 9:30. It's from 10 o'clock. I have to go back to Bagley. I'm not sleeping here. Therefore, I'm leaving. Mayor, he got up and said, thank you for encouraging people to register to vote. Have a safe trip. Go watch it.
So you were not?
No. Then I left. So maybe they booed me behind me after I left.
How could that happen?
Oh, impossible. Some cowards can do that one. So it could have happened. So, but in my presence, there was no boom.
Okay. So I'm concerned, and I'm tempted to ask you this question. There's a growing debate about running mate in the presidential legislative elections. Conversations are growing, especially in the opposition community, and political pundits think, many are thinking that, well, the opposition is very lazy. Why aren't you selecting your running mate? Coming who is yet to decide who is running mate, Waka, yet you yourself. Why was the delay?
Well, George Randolph selected the running mate, yeah.
He has one. The vice president.
He has one. But who told you because the vice president should be vice president for the next election? It can change.
They committed themselves to an agreement.
Yeah, they stated that. But you see the controversy in the coalition. And politics, as Barton Matthews used to say, is the act of the possible, and it's full of probabilities. Things can change another. You remember when Bismarck Kuyan the late was supposed to be the chairman of the LNTG representing Sawyer, the interim government, and out of a sudden, overnight, that changed him. So, politics, that is not firm. Things can change anytime. So, he hasn't named his vice president yet. He will name someone else.
You think so?
It is possible. It is very much possible. It is possible. So if he finds, for some reason, he find someone. But there are more, as David Parker, an American ambassador, used to say, there are more good people in Liberia than bad people. There are many people who are qualified to be president or vice president anything in this country. So there is not a deficiency there, and there is no indispensability of anyone, you know. And there are so many people. You can be my vice president.
People talk about indecisiveness.
No?
That your delay is because you people are very indecisive.
No. Some people want to know early so that they can start their critical assessment of those people. Politics is strategic, so deal with me for now.
Okay.
You know, and they can't deal with me. I hear some institutions say, and I heard that in Sunday the other day, yeah, Councillor Gongloe is good, but let him wait for 2029. You know, that's it. But yeah, but and so I believe everyone, Buakai and Cummings were there before they selected a vice president. And those vice presidential candidates are still around. Maybe they'll go to them, choose other people. You know, that's why I say, you know, choose other people. And definitely, I would choose. I will make my announcement at the time that I feel is strategic.
Anytime this one?
It's in my political interest, it's in the interest of the party, and the announcement will do well for progress.
Who are you going to be looking for? What are the qualities?
Somebody who has integrity, somebody who can work hard, as I can do, somebody who puts the nation above himself or herself. Like I usually say, I've demonstrated in the past I'm prepared to die for Liberia. Anyway, for you journalists, that was Cllr gave me in 2002 because I was defending journalists and human rights advocates. Even now, I defend media institutions who have been sued. They filed $2 million, $5 million cases against them. I'm defending them free of charge because I will not allow anything that will have a chilling effect on freedom of expression for people to start, you know, doing self-censorship. So I do that. And so I want somebody who believes in human rights, who believes in the rule of law, you know, and like I said, makes himself or herself meaningless when it comes to public interest.
Okay, because I'm concerned.
And there are many people like that.
I'm concerned about your plan for women empowerment. The president vetoed a legislation that calls for 30% of women representation.
You know, people usually talk about President Sali did so much for women empowerment. I used to tell women, what stopped President Sali from appointing 100% cabinet ministers? When I become president, I'm going to appoint, if I have 20 cabinet ministers, 10 will be women, 10 will be men.
Will you do it better than George Weah? He calls himself feminist in chief.
Again, you know, that's a lie. You know, I'm saying, does he have 50-50? I say I'm going to do 50-50. And I will include the physically challenged. I want a full representation of the mix in our population. The blind, the other physically challenged, you know, some visually impaired, other physically challenged people will be reflected in the government. In fact, one of our candidates as the chairman of LPP told me today might be a visually impaired person, very eloquent. We might have it. We have just LPP has a broad, you know, approach to solving problems. Our party chairman, for example, in Nima, is a man that has one leg amputated. So when I go to a place and people say, will you include the handicap? I said, look at especially in Nima, I said, look at my party chair, you know. And some of them are more productive than people who don't have any of those challenges. And I'm guided by my experience in government. When I was Minister of Labor, my colleague, you know, you go to international conferences, Lesotho sits before Liberia. And after Liberia is Libya, you know. So my colleague from Lesotho, whenever we used to go to African Labor Ministers Conference, sitting next to me was a blind man. And I said, wow, you're blind, you're appointed minister, He said yes. In fact, he said in his country he was head of the Labour Congress, the Labour movement in his country. Look at Biancotti. How many people can compare themselves to him when it comes to eloquence in this country? You know? Now, unless you see him, you don't know that a man is so intelligent and he expresses himself very well. So, why wouldn't a man like that, for example, have opportunity to serve in the government? You know? So, yes, women will have their day. I keep telling women they are into many of the other political parties, and women don't move so fast, so they're not gravitating toward me. But I'm going to be their savior. Because you see, one of the reasons you don't have many women in the cabinet, in the legislature, is the executive is where people learn about governance. And so people become assistant minister, they give press conferences, they know about budget, they become deputy minister, they become minister. So in those countries there are more men who have had governmental experiences. And so it's easier when they're out of government to campaign. They know what to say. And that's why I usually tell young ladies, even around the intellectual club, I say, these boys are sharpening their skills in argument. Why don't you people come around too? You know, every day they come here, they listen to sharp people, they listen to knowledgeable people, and they participate in argument, they keep improving. And then the next, so when you can't compete with them, so I'm going to provide a lot of opportunities for women to work in the ministry and executive branch of government so that they can have the opportunity to also be in the executive branch, in the legislature when the time comes, because they will be able to discuss budget and different things easily. Maybe you take the head of fishery, for example, and the people who I admire so much, she's good.
Emma.
Yeah. If Emma were to say she's running for a legislative seat, and the district she runs in would be tough for any man in that district because she'll be discussing.
She's progressive.
She'll be discussing intelligently. She knows the issue. She knows how to discuss. But if she had not been given that opportunity, she probably would not have developed her skills. So the day she wants to go in the legislature, she'll be a competitor.
Will you have her incorporated when you do win as president?
I don't want to be exact like that, but any logical person should think that, why would I speak about her that way? Every, you know, let me say this, and I'm not going to scare away my partisans. The partisanship is for the electoral process. When you win, you want a competent people to run government. You want a competent people to run government. And you can find ways to improve the capacity of partisans who are not up to that level. You're not going to exclude them, but you're not going to embarrass them by putting them at heads of agencies when they cannot perform. So you embarrass them, you embarrass your government, you embarrass the electoral people, as is happening now in some places.
Council, as a constitutional lawyer and a seasoned legal luminary like Liberia, I want you to talk us through about President Weah's Executive Order 117. That calls for.
You can't be talking about executive order to you know, the separation of powers. Our representative, the people, you know, in a constitutional democracy, power resides with the people, it remains with them forever. So we give power of attorney to lawmakers by electing them to represent us. When they speak, we are the ones speaking in the legislature. And we come up with our law. President cannot amend it by any means. If the president wants an amendment, president has lawyers, they will work on the bill of amendment, they will submit it, and it will be debated. If it makes sense to the lawmakers, it will pass. In the democratic process, there is negotiation, persuasion. You know, the system is built that way so that we don't become a monarchy. You know, because actually in Liberia, what President Weah is doing is something that's been here for a long time now to talk about imperial presidency, because on paper we have a democracy, but functionally we have a monarchy.
Okay. On paper, we have a democracy. Functionally, we have a monarchy. The voice of presidential aspirant Councillor Tiawan Gongloe. 0777-700-995, 555-995-995-770-94218, 817. Those are the numbers. Let's hear from few individuals. Our folks from Orange are already here. Hello, welcome.
Could you run with that of Children? Wema Wiki is my name. Mommy and Children, thanks for having a last man and supporting on the show for hosting Council of Congress. You know, Children and Rani, there is one thing I admire the Council of for in so with many other human abilities. Councilor Gongloe is passionate about changing culture for the best. He is eager. He is passionate about fighting corruption and other practices that are holding the country down. You know, Rani and Children, the most success of this having president, we have need power.
Okay.
So I don't understand anything. But let me conclude quickly.
Yeah, conclude that. Other
The one we have, the show, let me conclude quickly. You see, sitting on the Council of Gongloe and BP Joseph Walker can be a very good combination if I have my own way to select running mate.
Okay.
Yeah, running into home.
Let's hear you.
This is Henry K. Barty, and I joined you from Biden.
Okay.
Let me just thank God for the councilor. Again, councilor, I'm wearing a political jacket. There are those clothes or the jackets that we expected you to be wearing because, mind you, as a Gongloe to know that election will come and pass, there will still be a councilor Gongloe that is going to get respect for the country on the ground. Respect for example, where he mentioned that all those that are in the presidential way or are in the way is the most profile peaceful person in the way. For Aaron Bani and Toko, I tell you, both the rest of the checkpoint, telling you the half of the we are or 12 years old.
Oh, my man. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
The man know your own history and say the most peaceful. Alright, come on the radio too and talk about other peaceful people. Other people. Thank you. Hello?
Hello, Bani.
Yeah, let's hear you.
Good afternoon.
Yes, we want two people freedom of speech. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir.
Go ahead, please. We're hearing you, Chief.
Okay, thank you to your studio guest. I'm Mr. calling from Cabo. I want to ask Mr. Gongloe, when you were at the Labour Ministry, do the workforce were 50-50, women 50 or men 50?
Okay.
And I want to ask again, it's only to be president that can change the country?
Thank you, Councillor Gongloe. They asked two questions. Whether at Labour Ministry you have 50-50 workforce, I was thinking about Labour Ministry, I was thinking about CSA order and all of those, but you can just respond to that. And then he asked whether you can only change this country if you're president.
You know, I brought changes at Ministry of Justice and at Labour Ministry, but those changes were subject to the approval of the president. When I'm in a driver's seat, I will not need the approval of the president. The only approval I would need is by law from the legislature, and I'll be acting on the, and I'll move this country faster than has been run in the past. So, based on my experience, I will do much better. Now, at Labour Ministry, you don't even have the civil service law there, the civil service that employs the civil servants and send them to the ministries. They take the exam and all of that. That is why when some ministers take action against civil servants, the civil service put a checkpoint and say you can't do that. The civil servants are protected by the Civil Service Act.
Okay.
But when, I remember I was recruiting labor inspectors on contract, and I made it clear that we are recruiting 10 labor inspectors, 5 should be women, 5 be men. That was a contract that I had control over. But I went and saw inherited employees that had been there so much than 20 years. You keep putting people in when there's vacancy, different administration. So it would have been so in violation of the law together and say, you know, since I want 50-50, I'm going to lay off some employees here, and the law does not even provide that. It's not possible for me to do that. But I'm saying these are political appointees that serve, ministers are political appointees that serve at the will and pleasure of the president. They are not protected by civil service law. So the president has a free way to do it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Councillor Gongloe. Hope we can have you most of the time to talk to you on some of these issues happening around the country. Thank you for coming today.
You're welcome.
Okay. Councillor Tiawan Gongloe has been our guest. He's presidential aspirant. He wants to be president of Liberia. We talk about so many issues and some of the things he wants to do when he becomes president of Liberia. We take a very short break. The folks from Orange will join us very soon on the radio.
Fellow Liberians, my name is Simeon Framer. I'm the political leader of the LPP. The huge rate of crime in Liberia is tied principally to three things. 1, lack of jobs. 2, underemployment. 3, poor funding for the police. If we are serious about fighting crime, the proof must be in the way we spend public resources on provision of security for our people. As president, this will be the key priority.
Looking good is business. So why not switch up your wardrobe at Joe Mel Clothing on Lynch and Kerry Street's intersection. Joe Mel Fashion House, the first of its kind ever, specialized in the newest and modern designs of proper suits for gents and ladies, wearing dresses of different designs and style, evening dresses for any event. At Joe Mel Clothing, your style is in your hands. Check our casual men's sportswear, tailored to suit your fashion sense. Matching suits for that new and lovely couple. African suits for any traditional wedding. We have fashion photo kits as well. Dress slipper for men for any proposed suit. Joe Mel Clothing, the fashion house that is full of style and a sense of glamour. Joe Mel Clothing, call 0777-644-644 or 086-556-865 for any information. Joe Mel Clothing, we make